Hey, Rufaro.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Syringe Secrets.
Hi.
We've had a little bit of time off, but we're back.
Yes, we are. We're back for good.
So, we're going to go into a little bit as to why we've had a little gap in our filming, because we committed to doing this every week, which is going to be the same now going forward, I hope.
Yes.
Yes. And I think that, yeah, we're just going to be transparent and open with you guys, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes,
It's the
we're
whole reason
relatable.
why.
We're
Yeah,
honest. We're going to tell you the truth.
exactly. So we yeah, I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? We just want to be open and honest with everybody. So obviously, as we've spoken about before, me and Shadia, we've met at uni and we became really close friends, and we had a little bit of a little falling out,
Which
didn't
I'm
we?
not going to hear the last about for the rest of my life.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of a falling out, which kind of led us onto our topic of discussion today, which is boundaries and setting boundaries with within friendship groups, within
Business,
workspaces,
yeah.
within just relationships, life in general, and how important boundaries and setting those are for your own peace. And yeah,
Definitely. But I feel it's important with friendships.
yeah,
I feel like when you are close to someone, you are going to fall out. As
yeah,
in,
of course.
because it's normal to have. And I feel like if you're always going to be, I wouldn't say perfect in any relationship,
No,
perfect.
it's not
It's
ever.
bullshit.
Of course.
Because when you care and you love, you're emotionally involved.
Mm.
So you can trigger, I wouldn't say trigger people's or each other's feelings,
Yeah.
but you can upset each other
Yeah.
without knowing you have, because you're emotionally involved. And I feel like that week when it had actually happened, I was going through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I did take it out on you because you was the closest person to me in my life at that time. But
Yeah.
we've been like Batty and Bench.
Yeah.
Like literally.
We'd gone through quite a long period of spending uni days together. So we were 3 days at uni, off days together, filming the podcast, whatever. So yeah, we were kind of under each other all the time. But yeah, so there was like two scenarios that happened within a week. But I feel also it's learning one another, because although yes, we've been very close, we don't know each other that well, in the sense
friendship was so quick.
Yeah.
Because most people have friendships over years.
Yeah.
And then when you click with someone and become really friends really quick, they're quick friendships, and you feel like, not as in like forced or rushed, but you naturally get along.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing for me about friendships is not forcing.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you naturally click, it's like you're like a sister from another mister in a way when people say that. And it's a cliche, but it's the truth. And you are open and you do talk about a lot of things. And I find that with friendships but for me, I've always been very enclosed, like very closed off. Not with friends, but I've always kind of kept my circle to a minimum. And I've been, I would say, a little bit scared to reveal everything about me. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's quite a natural thing when
Of course it is.
been shit upon
Yeah.
over years, and especially when you've got successful businesses, you've got friends around you, but then after so long, they start revealing really who they are.
Yeah.
And then you start slowly, it's not that you cut them off, but they have a problem with you, and it's because you're evolving, and because you become slightly, I wouldn't say it's not even better or successful, it's the more of the evolving where they feel like they're going to be left behind, but they're not left behind. It's because you're in your own bubble and you're focused on your own journey, that you're evolving yourself.
Yeah.
You're in your own journey, like as your own bubble, where I know I've just said that.
We're in a bubble.
Yeah, a buzz bubble.
Oh, don't, because that's another story.
But going forward, I feel like you have to set boundaries to know, like, okay, I'm not happy with this. This is how I want to go forward.
Yeah.
But in a friendship way where we say, I don't feel like that's okay or acceptable.
Yeah.
Which we had that discussion.
Yeah, so we had that discussion.
Yeah.
And so we had a little break from the podcast for that reason. We were just trying to set our boundaries, which
and because Carl pissed us off. Yeah, you laugh, Carl.
That's for another podcast.
No. I have to get that one in there.
Oh my God. No, that's funny.
Maybe next time we'll have Carl sitting on the seat.
In the hot seat, Carl, no. But yeah, no, so as we said, setting boundaries is just so important. But it's interesting, like you saying that you're quite closed off, and how that from previous situations would have affected you. And I think that's it's true, and it's the truth, and it's a lot of people's truths. But I do feel that because again, I've been shit on a lot, and a lot of things have happened to me, friendship wise, where I've felt like I've been used, relationship wise, where I felt like I've been used, whatever. But I think it's so important to just not let that affect us as people.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it takes a lot, and it's hard, but I do think that it's important to, I think it's more about learning who you can be open with and not having, because this is my problem. I feel like, and I had this conversation actually the other day, that I think sometimes I'm quite naive, in the sense of I take everyone as face value, and I have like an intuition, but I tend to go, oh,
it's okay.
It's okay. They haven't done anything to me yet.
People have hidden agendas.
Exactly, and I think that it's so important to just be aware of that. But yeah, I think again, as I was saying, it's just so important to not let situations or past situations affect us as people, or let us change us.
Yeah, because I feel like I've had a lot of friends that have tried to gain from me, but without me knowing.
Yeah,
because I'm just genuinely like that. Like, if we go out, I'll pay. I'm just one of those people.
You're
like,
a giver.
You're very much like me.
Yeah.
And when we met each other, we was like, oh,
yeah,
that's very similar to me.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in return.
Yeah.
So if I do something for you, I don't want anything back, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, you do something for me, and I'm like, no, it's fine. And like, sometimes we're like, oh, you're right, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because we're that person.
Yeah.
But that's where we become like equal as friends. Where and it's not a case of like, obviously your birthday's next week. We've got some exciting plans for you.
God.
She's turning 34.
I'm 30. 25.
Yes. 20. But I feel like it's that as well. Like, you want to do nice things for your friends, but where they take the piss, that's where you start to think, you know what? Actually, do you value our friendship? Because we put a story out, didn't we?
Yeah.
And on the boundaries, and some people replied back.
Yeah, so we'll go into those in a sec. Like, we're just wondering, like, because sometimes it's uncomfortable situations. Like, our little fallout was an uncomfortable situation, because imagine falling out and we have to spend days at uni together, sitting on different rows.
Literally,
Shadia literally coming sitting next to me,
she was like,
and I'm like,
she do. I went, are you going to carry this on? Hi, Christian. Hello, all right. No, hi.
Yeah, but sometimes
do you have to sit here?
No, but sometimes, like, so for me, for example, if I feel disrespected, I need a minute. You're very much like, and that's fine. And again, everyone reacts to things differently, and I think that if I feel disrespected, I need a minute. And I just I'm very easy to just say, okay then, bye. I've done that with people. I've done it with family.
Yeah, shut them off.
So I can shut them off. Do you know what I mean? So I'm good.
Feel no way.
And that's just my way of dealing with things. For you, it's like, okay, let's have a conversation, and now we're done.
Yeah.
And so obviously,
yeah, but that's only for people that I care about.
Yeah.
People there where I'm like, when I'm done, I'm done. But I'm a Virgo where I will take and take and take and take and take, and then one day I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm done. But for people that I care about, no, I don't. I literally will think like, shit, it's me, I'm in the wrong, and I need to make them aware, like, I do value our friendship, and I will say I'm sorry or I apologise when I know. But and I feel like it's not a big thing to do, but it's hard for me to think, oh shit, because most of the time I'm easy to just say, oh, I'm done. I don't even care. See you later. You don't bring no value to me. But when you genuinely care and you love somebody, it's different.
But I think this is where, like, because I remember you'd sat next to me in uni and you going, do you not care?
Yeah.
And I was just like,
and I knew you did. You just didn't want to say, yeah, I did. Obviously, I was hurt.
No, but so I normally need a minute, but because we were at uni together, it was like a bit of a difficult situation because I could have gladly have just separated and sat on different things and left it like that for a while, whereas obviously you were like, no, we're sorting this now. And
I just feel like I feel like for me, life is very short and tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah.
And I feel like I can't hold things. So if I've got something to say, I kind of have to sort it out there and then.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I go, it sort of not lingers on me, but I feel like you don't really want to keep going to bed and thinking about it because it can start affecting your daily life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
So going forward.
Yeah, but there we go. So we'd
But we're back now, bitches. So, yes. But going to the next topic, I feel like for me, you obviously get clients who become friends, and then it's very hard, even with family as well, where sometimes do you charge them, do you not charge them? And obviously it's a business. It's the same with even Carl doing this. If a family member approached him, do you charge? Do you not? But it's still your business. Do you know what I mean? And it's very
What do you think, Carl? Have you ever had a family member come and have that dilemma or?
Yes.
And how did you navigate that?
Was you uncomfortable?
Yeah. It's an uncomfortable situation because you do want to do it for them for free.
Yeah.
And because they are family.
Yeah.
But then you also need to think it's taking up a lot of time.
Yeah, of course. And it's your time.
So
and it's your business. And this is your bread and butter.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you still got to pay for stock. Your time is money.
Yeah.
And I could do my Canadian lips and but I mean, for close family members, like where I've got my sister, I would never charge my sister. My sister's my sister. I don't care. Even if she's offered to pay, I'm like, I just can't take no money off her. I'd feel it would give me the ick, like as an older sister, like, do you know what I mean? She's my baby sister. But where there's other family members where you think, like, you can't take the piss. Do you know what I mean? Like, where you would pay somebody else, so I'll discount you, but why not pay me?
Yeah.
And you're coming to me because you know my service is going to be better than that next person. But where it comes uncomfortable, it's like, you're going to give them a discount, but then you feel like you need to give them for free because they're your family.
Do you not feel like, because for me, as if it was, I mean, I don't have any family members that can offer me an actual service or whatever, but if I did, well, let me put it into another scenario because we've got people that work within our salons.
Yeah.
I will pay for all of my treatments unless we're doing a service for service. Yeah. And I'll always say, because some of the people that work here go, no, it's fine, I'll just do it free. And I'm like, no, because it's product, it's your time. Like I'm willing to pay because if you weren't going to do it, I'd be going down the road and having it done elsewhere and I'd be paying. So in terms of family, I always feel like, for me, I don't know if it's because I am self-employed or whatever, and I don't know if when you are self-employed you think about it a bit more, but I'm always in the process of, but even if you're family, would you not be thinking like, okay, this is product, like it's her time, like, because I would always offer.
But I don't think they think that because they think you've got a business, so you've got money.
Yeah, there's that.
Everyone thinks you've got a business, you've got dough, you've got money, you're doing better than what they are.
Yeah.
So you think, well, you can give me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but even like going back to it, service for service, like Owen, who does my hair.
Yeah.
Shout out to Owen for my nice play dry mine.
I'm loving the fringe.
Well, he's fringing everybody at the minute, which I'm not happy about. Oh, do you want a fringe, babe?
Fringe. No, I like it. It's a vibe.
So, but with him, he will discount me massively.
Yeah.
And I won't pay the prices what I used to pay when I went before. But I feel it is his time. I'm taking that slot. He could get,
and he's still buying products.
Yeah, and he's doing me that same 100% care and attention.
Yeah.
So but there's other people where I'll just do service for service.
Yeah.
Because it's like they want me to do treatments, and I'm happy for them to do treatments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, it's a boundary.
Yeah,
it is a boundary,
that's what I mean.
And you have to set boundaries. And again, with people that you work with,
I
spend more time with people I work with than my own family.
Yeah.
And it's a case of also that professionalism and the friendship and how much do you let them know about your life?
Yeah.
Because obviously the people that work in the clinic are self-employed. They come to work for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes to a point where if you're having a bad day, I mean, I don't know so much about me. I know so much about them. But some days we're all humans. Our days are not always perfectly fine. Do you know what I mean? You'll have arguments. You'll have, like this week, it's been hell with Easter for the past 2 weeks. Like, I'm tired, you're tired. it's hard work.
And we didn't have a break from uni,
No,
really. So
we've been at uni every other day, and
Yeah.
I just feel like for me now, like tomorrow, yeah, I need a break. I need a minute. But you're allowed to say, I'm tired. I can't be on 100 all the time.
no.
And we are always on 100. As soon as we
Yeah.
wake up, we're like, yeah, 100. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you feel like you have to deliver and be productive. Because if you don't, you're failing. Because I don't watch TV. I
No.
don't watch TV,
Unless it's
a podcast about us.
or unless it's
Well,
what have we been watching that we loved?
what was it?
Gangs of
Oh,
London.
yeah, Gangs of London. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that gets us hooked.
like
But yeah,
that, yeah.
generally.
I watched that Stolen Girl as well.
Yeah.
So for me, unless I'm really interested in watching a
something.
product, like,
Yeah, you're not. We've had this conversation.
No.
We're not going to slap on EastEnders or
no, because I
Corrie.
can't. That time for me is valuable time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like to catch up on work or uni, or we don't stop.
No.
Even contacting appointments or people messaging on Instagram, it's just every single hour.
Yeah.
So,
At the minute it
yeah,
is.
unless I'm on the toilet and I've still got to go, Mum, just give me a minute. Mum, I'm like, wow. So
Yeah. So I found it when I first opened the business, I found it really hard to set boundaries with staff. Because I felt as though obviously from being in employed environments and things and having nasty bosses and whatever,
yeah.
I always thought if I was ever to become self-employed, I never would want to have that working environment for people. And I always think if you look after staff, or I did think, because I've looked after staff and
they'll look after you.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, so I found it quite difficult to separate, and I would take on people as if they were just my family.
Yeah.
And that's when it can go left, because then they think that they can arrive work whenever they feel like it. They can just sit around and do nothing. So it can get quite hard.
Or message you and say they're not coming in until what time?
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
think, nah,
It's just
not.
It's just not professional.
No.
But yeah, that's the thing. I think it is hard, especially for me. Or I do find it hard sometimes with finding that boundary of being that approachable, fun, nice, giving boss to then also
a boss.
Don't
you need to do this.
Please don't take the mick, because a lot of people have awful working environments, and a lot of the people here have a really nice.
Yeah.
And
they
don't exactly.
You wouldn't even have your phone on the shop floor.
Yeah.
Like, let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
You get blighs. But where you take the piss, you have to make them know, like, this ain't acceptable.
Yeah.
And then it's having that uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, well, I'll go and work somewhere else. Well, you do that and
Yeah.
you see how hard it is.
Exactly.
And then you can't come knocking back and say, oh, can I have my job back? Because then that relationship's
Exactly
broken. So, yeah, it's true. It's a big thing. It's a big
It
thing.
is.
It's an all-rounder.
Yeah.
So
how do you find, or have you ever found it a struggle to, because I think in relationships, especially when you've been in relationships for a long time, it is harder to set boundaries when you've let things slide from the get-go. And I do think that when you, especially in like personal relationships, you do, when you meet men or women or whatever, you do, because you're so like in this little bubble, you let little things slide, and then going forward you think, actually I don't like that, and then you try to set the boundary, but
it's harder.
You've let it slide. So
you kind of, don't get me wrong, you can't be cutthroat from the beginning or the get-go, but it's hard to say like what you don't like, because when you're in a relationship, you're not like, oh, hi Rufaro, hi, I'm Shadia.
Yeah.
What I don't like is if you talk to me in a certain tone, or if you do this or whatever, because it's just like, okay.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Of course not. Yeah,
you can't do that in a relationship.
You can't do that in any relationship, working relationship, friendship.
You feel like, I don't know if this person's taking a little bit of the piss.
Yeah.
Or they're making me feel where I'm not comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Or where like, and I'm unhappy. Or you can even ask that and say like, look, but it's having that conversation.
Yeah.
And I think it's being adult about it. And opening up and saying, look, I feel like, not that we have to set boundaries in place, because even when you start saying that, it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. No, I don't think it ever should be a conversation like that. I do feel like, I think as I'm getting older, I'm finding it a lot easier in friendships and relationships to do that. Whereas way back, one thing and I'd be like, bye. Like, I wouldn't even have the conversation. Or on the flip to that, before that, I would be like, I'd just take it until I couldn't take it anymore. But now I do feel like for example, there's someone that I was talking to, and there's he'd asked to see me, and I was like, okay. And then I'd sorted the kids out, and then I didn't hear from him. So like, and then he messaged, and he was like, oh, something like hours later, and I was like, your communication needs to
sort out.
you need to sort that out. And it wasn't like a nasty, like, I'm setting a boundary. But from that point, he was like, oh, okay. So, like, do you know what I mean? It's like setting those.
Well, it's respecting what you've also got at home.
Exactly.
And you, because you're taking time out to see them. You're organising your schedule, your life, because you're busy. And we are moms. So if I'm taking my time out to see you, please respect that.
Exactly.
And at least communicate and say,
exactly.
okay, it'll be at this time or whatever. And I think that's the biggest thing is communication.
Exactly.
And I feel like a lot of people lack in that. Because they don't know how to communicate, especially from, I wouldn't even say it's like,
what, lockdown?
No, I feel like as in,
I feel like lockdown's got a big part to play in everything, but no.
Your families, your cultures, your backgrounds.
That's so true.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Because it's, you know, like I grew up in quite a strict household, and like if my mum was unhappy with us, like, I used to go, like, I won't go into too deep, but I used to go in red-eyed, and my mum would be like, my sister would be like, I don't know why you smoke, or like on the part. But you go through stages of like where you can't sit with your mum and say, well, actually, I have a very hard life here. I have to clean up until 7, 8 o'clock. You tell me I'm allowed out for an hour. Like, you do you know what I mean? And you don't really have that communication with your family or your mum. You don't really say, like, I'm unhappy about these things and the way you speak to me, because they're your mum. You're supposed to accept it.
It's so true. I mean? And that's a really big point, because in my household it was, so my dad was very strict. I've said this to you before, like I was not allowed anywhere. I wasn't allowed out. I wasn't, and up until it was when I went to college I started to get some freedom, but until then I was housebound. And that was just his culture. Looking back now, I don't think it was a bad thing. He was protecting me, but at the same time, obviously a child is going to rebel. But so when I got to a certain age, or if I would ask, you know, can I go to Merry Hill, or can I go to my friend's house, and it was just no, and I'd ask why, but it was like, you don't ask me why. So like it shuts down that, like, okay, well, I don't ask no questions.
Don't ask me no questions.
And
it's like that strict adulthood or that strict behaviour, but it's always a balance, because then when you be too strict with your kids, do they rebel? But then there's kids that grow up with a very spoiled, like as in well-to-do background, very financially stable.
Wealthy.
Look at Bonnie Blue, like her family, like she's from good stock. And look how she's turned out. Like,
where I don't know much. I mean, I know what she does, but I don't know much about like her background and stuff. Like, is she from?
She's from money, and she's 1,000 men in a night. Like, you're doing too much. Like, but at the same time, but that's setting examples for girls or females, or to say like that's okay.
It's a bit like that.
It is. And I just
crazy.
feel like it comes to put, fair enough, she's making money, she's doing what she's doing, but in a way you're selling your soul. You don't know who you are now, because we're here as human beings to communicate. The way it's evolved with social media, with even like cryptocurrency, even like we talked about this last night, how there's certain parts, Japan, places now, Starbucks accept crypto. We're moving and evolving so quick where banks are closing down. Eventually there's not going to be no people to talk to or have them communication levels with, even when you go through to phone calls, like everything's like automated. Sometimes I just want to talk to a person
all the time.
Since lockdown it has moved fast. Like Uber Eats, I should have invested in Uber a long time ago in stocks and shares, because who knew before COVID Uber Eats is, look, it's flew. Everyone orders from Uber. How much time do you order from Uber a week?
A day, you mean?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I have numerous orders a day. It's ridiculous.
But back then, we got parents, single parents who didn't drive, who didn't have cars, who wasn't able to go out and leave their kids to go shopping. They've thought about everything going forward. So eventually, it's becoming to a point where, sometimes I feel like, am I being lazy? Should I just get my ass in the car and go to the shops because I'm paying for deliveries, I'm paying for this extended money? Do you understand what I'm saying? And the way it's evolving, like now, it's going too fast. So for social media, but what that's doing, that younger generation, are they going to get confused to say, oh, okay, so this Bonnie Blue can sleep with 1,000 geezers, whether it's going in her mouth, she wank, whatever, she's doing whatever, because it's 1,000 men each and every way to make an income. But what is that setting?
No, I know, it is wild. Like, I've always, I mean, I've never, even the OnlyFans situation.
It's a social. It's evolved.
Yeah,
Because
of
what I'm
course.
saying, it's YouTube, it's social media. Because you wouldn't know about this girl.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So when we were younger,
Yeah.
I mean, that type of industry,
That's
it wasn't.
just
It's
porn.
just so
Yeah.
it's so easily accessible, and she's been on This Morning. She's been on like all these big daytime televisions. Like that was not like
Well, that's because of the way she looks. Because if you look at, because she looks like she's from money. She's a English girl. She's very like well-to-do, spoken. But if she was ghetto and hood, she wouldn't be on them programs.
Yeah.
Like she wouldn't be. Not a chance. So I feel like for those reasons there, but that's setting an example to say, okay, that job career, that's a career. No, girls, that ain't a career. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like only because I have girls growing up and like imagining my child or watching YouTube and she just come up like, no, it's not okay. Like I just feel like the way we're evolving, it's becoming so like thrown out there where certain things are acceptable, where there's a boundary. And what I'm saying to you is, as a woman, that's like a boundary like that's completely would have crossed for me.
Yeah. Well,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, as a society,
Yeah.
the boundary has been crossed.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
But she was on another podcast and I was watching her and I thought, and the guys was rating her and I thought, ugh. Like
Only because the amount of money that she's making, because she makes a lot of money, but
because she was against some girls and they were talking to her and they were saying, I rate her, and I thought they rate her because she's making money, but
yeah, people can make a lot of money on OnlyFans and all these different things, but for me, that was never an option because I thought I've got other abilities to make money.
Yeah.
I don't need to, that for me that would be a line that's drawn. I'm not bashing anyone that wants to do that or look down on anyone that wants to do that. That's personal preference. But in terms of I don't know, that was never about that. It wasn't even a thing for me.
But when I'm going back to it, money is materialistically made for us, where we're in a system where it strips us back from what humanity is. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Where we're led by so many things where we feel like, okay, that's the latest this, we probably want that. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And you get confused by these things. And I feel like where I was going back to, we're evolving and it's taking over, and it does get scary because even like cashless, they're trying to make everything cashless. And I feel like going to that, it comes to a point where do you just live to work or work to live? And I feel like even me, like one of my family members is traveling, he's going all around the world and everything. And I just thought that life of having freedom is so much better of a life than being trapped in a system. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, don't, because honestly, every day, these last 2 weeks of me being on Easter, on this Easter with the kids at home and whatever, I've thought, I don't want to be here. I don't want to, and you know that my plan is to not live here for the rest of my life, but I just can't. I feel like this is hell on earth. No, you can get
bills.
Yeah, and I think, well, at the moment in the UK, it's not built for people to succeed. So going back to what people put in about boundaries when we asked, I had a few little comments. Someone put, it's vital. Everyone on this planet has boundaries, including animals and insects. Which,
I've had. This is one I struggle with, but friends expecting discounts but never supporting. I'll only hear from some friends because they want to get booked in. I need to set a boundary as a lot of people are just users.
That's so true. And I think that, well, we've touched on that already, but yeah, I think that it's the expecting for me that I just find so rude. Because what do you mean you're expecting free treatments and this is coming out of my pockets? Yeah. I've got do you forgive me, I betrayed you?
I've got.
Was that not you?
Yeah, that was it. Was this you? Have you creamed your foot back yet?
Was that you?
Let me
It might have, I don't know, because I did put something. I don't know if it was that.
Have you creamed your foot back?
I'm not sure.
Yes, I have. And I didn't buy a Carl's cream either this time.
Can you afford some cream now, love?
Yeah, my podcast come through.
I'm glad for you. But no, it is just so important. But what would you, have you ever found it hard to set boundaries though?
Me a little bit, yeah.
When do
'Cause
you
I
think
feel
when it was
like-
when you're younger, or even still now, do you struggle?
Yeah, because I'm not saying like we was battered when we was younger, but our generation was different.
Yeah, we were disciplined different.
Yeah, so when my mum used to rip wood out the airing cupboard, it had nails on it, and she would chase us up the stairs, and the nails would just keep licking you, and there's pieces of blood just piercing. I'm like, stop it! So, and my mum would be like, "I'm sorry, I love you."
Yeah.
Afterwards, and you're just like, "You've just beat me with the wood. How can you love me?" But that's a hard household I was brought up in, and I was brought up in a Caribbean household because my stepdad's Jamaican, so he just didn't ramp with nothing. Any back chat, we just was brought up hard,
Yeah.
old school. Like they'd be like, they used to call me Shadi the Buddy. He'd be like, Shadi the Buddy, don't bother run your mouth to your mom, and all of these things. So he used to. From then, we just was like not scared, but we had a thing where respect was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a whole fear.
Not
My dad.
Kids talk to me now. Are you?
I know, it's wild.
I look at my kids like, are you okay? What?
But do you not think so? I've smacked my kids, I'll admit.
Yeah.
I do not do the level of beatings that I used to receive.
And
No.
it's not even like smacking like on your hands, but it comes to a point where like it's very iffy, this whole subject.
Yeah, it is,
especially because we're in mental health and doing nursing and what have you, and safeguarding, and we see so many different things. But I feel like a lot of the kids of today, especially the ones who have committed crime,
you can tell the ones that weren't smacked.
But a lot of parents are scared to
reprimand them
because of the services or teachers or whatever else. Even teachers, they can't even put kids in certain places now or tell them about certain things because they're too worried they'll lose their job. Cost of living, they've got bills to pay. But there is some kids out there that have no respect.
But what I was going to say was, do you feel, so obviously like you had a hard disciplinarian upbringing, as did I. Do you think that then that affects you going forward in like relationships and things?
Yeah, because I feel like there's some things that you kind of accept where you think maybe I shouldn't, where it's like, nah, I shouldn't have accepted that.
Yeah.
Like, I've got friends who are like, they wouldn't even dare let their partner speak to her in a certain way, but they go off on a tantrum over stupid stuff. Like for me, I'm just like, just get over it. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. But I know exactly where you're going. I like how you feel, because there is things where you feel like, if I would have set that in stone then, you won't be going through some of the shit now. Because you put yourself there where like, I'm not going to accept this behaviour. Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, because I was just thinking like, what obviously what are they called? Formative years. Is that the right word? No. Whatever.
Limited years.
No, when we're younger, basically, our early years. There we go. I think it has such a massive impact on your development. So, I think that, you know, the households where those things happen, it's interesting to see, like, as adults, what they're willing to accept. Because if you're willing to accept that from your parents who love you, and like you said, like your mum would beat you and whatever, and you go, oh, I love you though. Like, what then going forward in relationships, friendships?
I did the beating back then. I don't know how bad I was. So what I'm saying is, but it still put me in place now.
Yeah.
And if I never had that, I probably wouldn't be the person I am today.
Yeah.
I have the utmost respect for my mum, utmost respect for elderly people, utmost respect for parents in general. And I feel like I see some people and I think I wouldn't dare speak to my mum or anybody like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
no, I don't think I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I was just thinking like the correlation of like how you're treated as a child to then how it affects you then going forward.
Because I feel like you will always have like childhood trauma, but for me, I feel like I don't really live in the past.
No.
Where I don't revisit anything and think, oh, I had that child.
Oh yeah, same.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, same. I don't.
It's what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, I went through a phase of absolutely. So like, my mum wasn't the disciplinarian in that sense, in like, you know, but my dad was, and I was petrified of my dad. I loved him so much. I idolized my dad. But I was petrified of him, and to the point where, like, if I did anything wrong at school, I'd be going, please don't phone my
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to.
But do you feel like, would you want your kids to be petrified of you?
No, that's the thing.
And
So
you would want it
it's
to come
such a
to you,
fine line.
yeah.
Like, it's so hard because you need to have that respect and you need to have that discipline. But at the same time, like, do I want to be beating my children? No.
But then at the same time, but I don't want to be friends with my child.
Yeah, it's so
Me,
hard.
like, especially with the girls and my daughters. Like, I'm your parent, but we're not friends. Like, you can talk to me about anything, and I want you to be able to come to me about anything. But where you feel like, I see some mums that are really friendly with their daughters at certain ages when they've got older daughters, and I think, I won't be raving with my daughter.
No.
Not a chance.
No.
Because that boundary there has dropped.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, I watched something on YouTube where the daughter was like 14 and she came in and her mum was there waiting for her. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning and she was swearing at her mum. And she was like, what time do you call this? She was like, oh, you shouldn't have been effing me. You shouldn't have waited up. I was like, wow. This girl was 14.
Yeah.
So for me there, what do? Beat your child. But that shouldn't have, exactly, that shouldn't have even come into that. Because my 14-year-old ain't talking to me like, not a chance. So, but where has that boundary crossed for you to allow your child to talk to you like that?
Yeah.
Because that's where you're letting boyfriends come around and that. No. I don't mind having a school boyfriend, but you ain't bringing him to my house.
It stays at school.
Yeah. Like, and at the same time, my daughter, like, she's 12, and like, I feel like I broke the generational curse. She plays chess. She plays football. Like, she's not a typical from like my back in the day family. Like, we played Kirby and everything, but we weren't playing chess at 12.
Yeah.
But I don't want, that's where I do want to break that generational, not even cycle or curse, where I want them to have a different life, and a different childhood.
And to experience different things and do different things.
And she does come to me if she's upset, but like, they do get boundaries. Like, there is the naughty step. They do get devices taken off them, but we have like a device box at the weekend where after a certain time it goes off.
Yeah.
Everything goes in the box because we spend time together. So I always take them out.
Yeah.
We're in parks. We do picnics. They're on the scooters all the time because they need to be out there enjoying life. This isn't life.
No, it's wild.
This
it's
is
not real life
vibling.
for sure.
This is, in the morning you wake up, you're on your phone. At night you're on your phone. It is like a Bible. And this is what they've put this in system for us to be distracted from real life.
Yeah.
And like, people don't realise that ages you. Because you then start, even people that are looking on social media, you're forgetting about your own life, but you're looking at women that are sexy or they've had surgeries and their bodies are, then you start questioning your body because of how you look. It's all set in place for a reason. And I feel like you have to come to a point where you say, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah.
Let's go and live a bit of like
real life.
Yeah, the other day we took some deck chairs and we went like onto the hills near Malvern and we watched like the sun go down. But we didn't have the phones and everything. We didn't have to put it on Instagram or anything. But it was
no,
just
that's
nice
the thing.
to sit and enjoy those moments. And I only choose to put out there what I want to put out there.
Yeah.
And I feel like, but then again, we need it for our business.
I was going to say, because in business, any social media manager that I've worked with is always like, show more of your life and da-da-da-da-da. That's what people like to see. And I'm fine with that to a certain extent. But like you said, where does it then cross over in, like, you go out for food, hang on a minute, no one eat, let's just take a picture. Or hang on a minute, kids, don't do this, let's just take a picture. Like, it's just, you just want to be present in the moment sometimes.
Or, like, back in the day, there was radio ads, there was TV ads. People were paying 1,000. Nobody watches TV anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you advertise your business now? The way forward is Facebook advertisements, Instagram, social media. This is a form of marketing.
Yeah.
And this is what people fail to realise. Instagram is a business. This man is made dough.
Yeah.
So he's made money from people promoting their life on a business through the stories, through his page.
Yeah.
He's smart.
Yeah, very smart.
So, but as you going back to it, but that is the way we market it because we will post lips out there and people will think, oh my God, them lips look good. Let me book in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Even skin, Botox, whatever. You post your hair, people book in with Adam because it's a form of marketing. So, but what you have to remember, it is only marketing. It's not life.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of it is fake. And it's not real life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, going back to it, I just feel like it again goes to boundaries. How much do you show? You have to set your boundary. How much do you let your kids see? You've got to set a boundary. How much do you allow them to be on these devices, whether it's iPads, PlayStations, Xbox, whatever?
Yeah.
Again, it's a boundary.
Setting a boundary.
Yeah.
So important in life.
Ting ting.
Set boundaries.
Yeah.
And I just.
Carl, setting boundaries are you.
You're not going to hear the last of it, you know, Carl. It's going to be every podcast. Absolutely hilarious.
I feel like now, because we have had a break as well, it's made us realise, because I was pissed off because
What were you pissed off about, Shadia?
Because I was really enjoying this.
No, as was
I.
I.
Going to be taking this to a whole new level.
You want them to be accepted.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, because we'd started it and we was really put everything in place, plans in place, and then obviously that happened with me and you, and then because you was being so stubborn, but you was putting a boundary in place.
Yeah, I was going to say,
respect.
I'm going to just cut you off there because I wasn't being, I may have been being stubborn in the sense of, because I just didn't want to talk after a while.
Yourself,
no, but let's just be honest, because something happened and I set a boundary and I said, babe, I know you're going through a lot, but please don't speak to me like that.
Second time now.
That was the that was the first time, and then the second time it happened, and that's when I was like, no, done.
I'm going.
Yeah, because how many? No, but when you set a boundary, how many times after that do you allow it?
I know, because I think I'm more of the joker where I think, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do sometimes where I'm not manipulated, like I'm not calculated, and I do speak before I think.
Yeah.
Sometimes, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's just you as a person. That's what. There's nothing wrong with that.
You don't realise, and you thought you upset people. But I think in life, I've gone through life like that to protect myself.
Yeah.
Where there's like not a barrier in place, but I've always had it like, you know what, you're not going to break that wall down to me, because I've been broken down before where people will take the piss. So I think I had not like when you're close, but you still have that little, is trying to take me for a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? But you're not. It's just like you never said anything to upset me. It was just the way you said it, and I thought it was the tone or how it was. So I said to you, do you know what I mean? Like the way it was said. But the way I said it was because I was emotionally angry about other things as well, and then it came out across to you with the build up from everything what was happening. So I took it out on you by, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you was the closest to me at that time.
Yeah.
Which is admittedly it does happen. And at the end of the day, we're big grown ass people and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then and people probably think, oh, well, you're friends. But friends do that. And that's what makes your friendship even stronger. But what was we going back to? What was we talking about before then?
You said you were annoyed, obviously, because then we'd stop the podcast.
Because and it wasn't even the fact that, because I was the one who said, you know what, forget it, let's not do it.
No, because this is the thing, Carl. She tried to say to me, she's like, I'm so annoyed with you because you stopped us doing the podcast. I said, love, I actually didn't say anything. I literally didn't say anything. In the group, you were like, right, we're not doing this. We've had a falling out at uni, so da 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 da. And I was just like, right, okay then.
Did I flip my dummy out the pram? No, because you kept like, hi. No contact, no eye contact. Do you want a coffee?
How would you have done the podcast because you weren't even talking?
Exactly.
No, I wouldn't have.
I went, do you want a coffee? Sure. Do you want, well,
no.
Never.
No, I think I said no.
Words. Yeah, one word. And then she's like, can you stop talking because I'm trying to listen? I was like, you're trying to listen. Like, really?
No, Carl, because you would have found it hilarious.
Yeah,
I think looking back now, it was funny. Looking back on it now, it was funny. I think I moved up a few seats and she moved with me. And I was just like,
from me, she was like, and I was going closer. And she was like, can you just not? I was like, no, I can. I'm going to sit here.
No, because imagine, so obviously we'd had a little bit of fun out and it was on a Friday. And then I was so angry that I left uni and I was like,
didn't go back.
No, I didn't go back because I thought,
if I see her, I'm going to inject her with some saline. What? Because I was going back to practical. I thought, I can't even face her.
No, because I just thought, same. I thought, I'm so angry. I don't want to see her.
For lunch, weren't we?
Yeah, I'd said, we were packing away our things and I said, we've got loads of work to do. Let's go for lunch. We'll do it together and then obviously we'll come back. And then as we were leaving, we had this whatever happened. And then I was like, don't chat to me.
Yeah, because she was like,
Don't
sad, and I'm like,
chat to
no,
me.
Rufaro, we're going
Yeah.
to get it out now, and whatever. No, I can't do this right now.
No, I said I'm not
doing this
no,
right now.
no, do you know what it is? So for me, I was at a point where
No, I know, because you'd already spoke to me about it
yeah,
before.
so I'd
I
spoken
think
to you
was
about it a
thinking,
couple of
"No, you're
days
taking the piss now."
before, and then it had happened again. No, but I was conscious because we are on a mental health nursing
Yeah,
degree.
no.
Look what the staff are like with any of the nurses. And they'll any time like someone says anything at uni that's like out of turn, they're onto lecturers like da 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 da. So we've come out of the lesson. Shadia's going, well, I didn't appreciate this, and I was just thinking, I'm going to flip. Because I've already told you, and I'm not doing this here. Like, and I don't want to be ever drawn out to a place of at this age.
Yeah,
I want to fight
like
someone, and that's literally how I felt in the moment. I thought I'm either gonna not speak to you, which was the better option.
We can't. I wasn't sure if she would go back to the lecture, and I was like, nah, I can't even go back to practical because the way we feel right now, we will. But I feel like that's because we were so close.
You need that though. You need that space sometimes.
Yeah, you do need space. No, but this is where you need to learn a little bit, I feel like, because the space issue, the thing with Shadia is, no, let's be real. We had Saturday. No, we had Saturday because what happened on Sunday? What happened Sunday?
Where was we?
No, where were you? You were out, love, and I had. It was like I had a toxic ex. I had 25 missed calls. Carl.
Messages.
No, they like eventually it looked like she was talking French to me. I don't know what happened.
I was ignoring myself. The next day, I was like, wow.
She must have been mortified. She was going, I'm coming to your house right now. And then I wouldn't hear, I'd get a phone call and I thought, and then she'd say, send me a postcode. I thought,
what was I saying? I couldn't even smell something.
No, you couldn't.
And she was watching me get drunker.
Yeah, as they were going on.
And drunker.
It had gone from English to Spanish by the end of it. I just didn't know what was happening. And I was sat there, like, I was laughing to myself. I was just thinking, is she okay? Like, just give me a minute.
You know what it was? I'd gone out, and then I knew some people that knew her, and they was like, oh, did Rufaro, were you not with Rufaro? Rufaro should have come.
And he brought you back.
And he got me so upset. I was like, she never fucking answered his phone. And then I think because it made me think, you know what? I do miss her. And then I was drunk. And then, you know
what? She was in her feels? It was too much. No, yeah, it was too much. It went on for hours. And literally, I was out for a carvery with my kids and one of the girls from work. And I was going, oh, Shadia again. Shadia again. I was just like, this is too much.
But when you showed me, I was actually mortified because I thought, no.
Oh,
I was like, no,
I think she even said in one. Sorry to like whatever, but she even said in one of the messages, "You're the reason as to why I'm drinking now." I thought, oh my god, I actually cannot. Yeah, it was too much. I just thought, what is happening here? So yeah,
and Tobias, my friend, was with me, and he was just laughing his head off. He went, "She's not going to talk to you." So I told him why you keep doing it. I went, "No, she's going to answer. She will answer. She's got to answer." And he was. She did.
No, I didn't.
Eventually.
No, I didn't. I didn't answer on the Sunday at all.
On that day.
No,
that's what he's on about.
Oh, eventually. No, because I had no choice, Carl.
Oh, whatever.
I had no choice, Carl. No, in the sense of, no, because I'm not going to lie. I don't want to sit here and lie. I probably wouldn't have spoken to you again.
Really?
No, honestly, I probably wouldn't have.
She's lying.
I'm not lying. Hand on my heart, I am not lying.
Because she felt she wasn't.
No. Let me explain why I'm saying that, so it doesn't like what. So because the reason why is because that's what I do. I'd felt disrespected. I'd given her that one chance of, okay, I don't like this. Don't do that again. 2 days later, she'd done it again. So I was just like, I actually don't need this, and I don't want it. I don't want to be spoken to like that. So I would have been like, okay, bye. But because we're at uni together, and obviously on the Monday, so that happened on the Sunday where I had a barrage of message and phone calls. She sat next to me on the Monday, and I was just like, but for a couple of weeks, it was a little bit.
It was a bit
and then,
difficult.
but then I just thought, do you know what? Yeah. Everyone is different. Everyone, and then we'd had a conversation about, things that happen in life, and I get it. And although, like we'd said earlier, you can't let things affect you as a person, what you've been through. It does sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can't, and if a person is apologising and whatever, there's a certain point where you have to say, do you know what? I accept your apology. Let's not do this again, though.
At the same time, for me, because like you said, you could have easily walked away, but it was only more because if we hadn't had the podcast, I think maybe we could have easily fallen out as well. And I'm being real.
Yeah.
Because in a sense, this is like a business. And when you are friends, it is hard to become business partners. Yeah?
It's easier if you were business partners first and became friends.
And I think because quick friendships are always risky and shaky because we become friends so quick.
They are. So I'm going to play devil's advocate because I'm really good friends with my business partner.
Yeah.
And we've only been friends for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And we're really good friends to the point where he said, like, if you ever need to go anywhere and you need someone to watch the kids, let me know.
Yeah.
So I do feel I think it depends.
No, but in a way where she was meant to come in my life and I was meant to come in her life. Because when we first met, we didn't actually even like each other. Like, no, on a real, like, not disliked, like, we don't like each other, but I was annoying her, she was annoying me. And it wasn't that, and it's because we were so similar, yeah, in different ways where we was more... She know she had a clinic. She didn't know I had a clinic. The way we are, the way we've got kids, the way we've been brought up, the way she's lost her dad, I've lost my dad. So many similar repetitive patterns.
Yeah.
So it's like your siblings.
Exactly. And it is like that. And that's where you can argue about silly things. And then when we have fun, because we can just be having fun over the stupidest, we could be crying in the car, laughing, near enough weeing ourselves over the daftest, stupidest things. But why I feel like it is a true friendship, because nothing's gained from it. She's not my friend because I buy her things, or I'm not her friend because she buys me things. We genuinely do things and acts of kindness for each other.
Yeah, and people in general,
and we reach out to each other when we know we need to be spoken to. Yeah? And I sense there's something wrong with her, she senses there's something wrong with me, she will reach out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where that you can't buy. You can't force.
Yeah.
And it's full on genuine. And it will get emotional.
Aww.
But you see what I'm saying? And that is where people look at your friendships and they wish they had something like that, because it isn't forced. And I find that a lot of things that I see even online on Instagram, it's fake, because we will do a lot of things that we don't even we don't post.
Yeah.
We don't need everyone to see. And that's the thing. Everybody needs to feel like they need some clarification all the time now. Like they need a like, but you don't. It is how you feel as a person.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like, so going back to it, where it would have been easier to walk away because we're both them sorts of people. I mean, I didn't speak to my mum for 2 years nearly when I fell out with my mum, because I am, when I'm saying I'm stubborn, like, I'm not even that, like, I just shut you off, I'm done. If I see you on the street, I'm like, I don't even know you.
Yeah, but
I didn't get like that to her because it was a quick friendship where she hadn't upset me, I'd upset her. Do you know what I mean? So I had to respect her boundaries and her wishes. Yeah.
We're back.
That's a wrap.
No, but yeah, so just to like basically the whole moral of the story is you might come across setting uncomfortable boundaries with people, and you might have that awkwardness, but it is so important in all aspects of life, 100%. Isn't it? Like we've discussed, business, friendships, relationships with your children, absolutely everything. It's just so important. And as I said, you might have that uncomfortableness, but it's paramount for your own peace as well, and for your own sanity. So next episode on Syringe Secrets. Have you got a secret actually for this week? What's your syringe secret for this week? Have you got one?
What is my secret for this week?
It can be anything. It can be...
trying to think. Yeah. I went into uni and pretended I was there for the whole lecture.
When was this, love?
I pretended I'd been toilet and I was working, and she was like, "What's your hair?" I was like, "Yeah."
That was hilarious.
So, yeah. I mean, I can't tell you the naughty ones. I slid the bread through Waitrose. On the check out. I thought, did you see me with the £1.10?
That is hilarious.
What's your secret for this week? Spill the tea.
I don't know if I've got a secret actually this week.
You could have something in there.
I don't know actually. You think so? Actually, no, I do have a syringe secret, but I actually can't tell you yet, but I will tell you guys soon. But it's a big one, and I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you, and I don't even know what it is.
I know, but I'm so excited.
I feel like I do know.
I don't think you do.
Is it work related?
It's work related.
I feel like I do. I feel like it might be abroad.
No.
Or something she's doing here.
I'm just so excited. But I can't actually fully say yet, but I do have a syringe secret to share very soon. So, thanks guys for watching another episode of Syringe Secrets. We will be back next week, won't we? And
we've got some exciting people coming on also.
How about it?
So, how about that? Catch me outside. So, yes, we're back, guys. Our next episode will be out next week. Like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And yeah, catch us outside.